This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes, for your half-assed entertainment news with no bullshit, with our hosts, the Baroness and Bear Fiorda, only on Talk 4 Media.
G'day. Welcome to Behind the Scenes. I am your host, the Baroness Summer Helene, and we are on with my co-host, Fuzzy McStinky Bear.
I almost want to let you get away with it because it's Christmas and I should be cheerful, and I'll count that as a Christmas gift. You being
I'd
able
like
to say
to point out I bought him this gorgeous vintage Ralph Lauren sweater, and he chose to hold the microphone in the arm that covers up the bear.
They got a good pick there. How about this? They can also see this wonderful ring you got me, this Viking ring with a bear on it.
It is not a Viking ring. It's a Berserker ring, and I couldn't even find it in
Yeah,
silver or gold. I found it in pewter. So now I have to have my brother, shout out to Matthew Morris Fine Jewelry, remake the damn thing.
Why? What's wrong with the pewter?
It's pewter.
Yeah. I mean, don't lick it. You'll be okay.
Wait, I've been
poisonous,
buying
so
you.
know.
I've been buying you gold and silver, and all I had to do was buy you pewter.
Pewter is poisonous. Don't eat it or
been
eat off
robbed.
of it or put it in the dishwasher because.
Well, actually, do you know they thought that they thought tomatoes were poisonous because the plates back in medieval times were made of pewter, and the acidity from the tomatoes would activate with the pewter. People would eat it and die. It's also where wakes came from, because people would eat it, go unconscious, and then they'd accidentally bury them. So they'd try and wake the dead. That's where a wake came from. But yes, essentially back in the day, pewter silverware and pewter plates made people think that tomatoes were poisonous.
So the tomatoes are fine. It's the pewter. It's the plates.
Yes, but back in the day, we didn't know that because we used to think the world would end when the sun was going down, because as humans, we are morons. Still are. It hasn't gotten better.
Well, I think that tomatoes are gross anyway, so I'm going to go and still believe they're poisonous. It's my headcanon now because I'm not going to eat them anyways.
You literally eat tomato sauce on everything. You eat marinara on everything. You eat like an unsupervised child at a birthday party when you're not weight cutting.
Stop. Tomatoes are not the same as any of the things you just listed. 100% different.
If you guys can disprove him, because duh, I'd like to give you a ride at Off-Road Rentals in Palm Springs, California. Shout out to our partner there. And by the way, Bear's doing a giveaway from Doodleverse. So if you want doodly,
yes,
I've got blankets.
If you want a beautiful doodled beanie and multitude of colors, please check out my profiles at Bear Fiorda to see how to win one of those. Also, if you give the best description of why tomatoes are not the same as any of the things she listed there, I'll give you the free ride at Offer Rentals and a beanie.
You can't do that with a beanie. That wasn't part of the deal. You're not allowed to one up me, or I'm going to have to give them. I will give them naked pictures of Bear.
That's not a win. I assure you, audience, that is not a victory.
What is it? I will give you naked pictures of Bear and the right to Photoshop and sell them.
That's not. Well, I don't have a one up for that one, nor am I going to try.
We've had a lot.
I will sell you. I will donate. What is the right word here? I will give away my bathwater.
Nobody wants your bathwater. They don't even want Sydney Sweeney's bathwater anymore, and you are not Sydney Sweeney.
They wanted what's her name's bathwater, Belle Daphne.
Back in the day. So Sydney Sweeney tried to do this thing where she was like selling bathwater in her soap.
Why is it always?
Because she was naked in it, and these men haven't seen a naked woman, so it's the idea of just a naked woman existing.
But the bathwater is not.
Because she was naked in it.
It's not the same.
Think of when we were watching Big Mouth last night. Andrew was sniffing what is it? It was her bathing suit.
Yes, one of the characters was sniffing the bathing suit of his friend, or of his friend's sister. But it's like, it just smells like chlorine. Like, yeah, but it's the thought.
That's kind
wrong.
of what
That's
it is.
really gross.
That's what it is with the bathwater.
I don't get it. I really don't. Just go touch grass, or go out there and learn how to be charming, and then touch a lady. It would help.
Remember, Gen Z now is the least sexual generation in human history. They don't know how to interact, and the advent of AI partners has created a situation where people aren't even having to.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point.
We are in a place where our species is going to die.
So, back there's a poem and a video on YouTube. I encourage everyone to go watch this. It's you can type in poem when technology can help us touch or feel ourselves again. And it's just this guy literally listing off everything we've gone through so far, but in the sense of a poem, from basic technology to social media to having AI. And the whole premise of it was maybe one day we will lose the ability to connect with each other, but the computers and the machines that we create can help us get back to that point. They will teach us to connect with our fellow humans again. And maybe that'd be nice. We're following that trajectory so far.
That is like that stupid thing you like to listen to, A Million Futures or Terrible Futures or whatever.
That's more likely where we're going. What is it?
What was that?
I think it's
this thing he listens to. It gave me nightmares. He tried to put it on. I play Harry Potter when we go to sleep, or I play like YouTube, or I play Percy Jackson. I put like an audio book on, but it has to be a no-brainer audio book.
I think it was something called All Futures.
All Tomorrows.
All Tomorrows, yes. Beautiful
Nightmare
book,
Fuel.
by the way. If you're into
like
sci-fi fantasy, All Tomorrows is a great book.
It is like going to sleep listening to Neil Gaiman or Stephen King. By the way,
and it's short, so if you don't like reading, it's still really good.
I'm going to say this.
It's like 100 pages.
I genuinely think that from our generation, every generation, there is an amazing author that's remembered. You go back to Shakespeare, you go back to E.A. Poe. Like, Poe is one of the best of all time. He has the perfect story structure.
Yeah.
Shakespeare, by today's standards, not awesome, but by standards of the time, absolutely incredible.
I can't imagine people sit down and read a lot of Shakespeare these days for the hell of it.
I do. I genuinely do. I enjoy Shakespeare. Hamlet's one of my favorites.
Well, like I said, I can't imagine a lot of people.
There are Shakespeare
Miss
societies.
Anomaly.
No, there are Shakespeare societies. There's Shakespeare in the Park. Like, it's still a big thing, dude.
All right.
I'm just saying.
Right. Fair enough. Shakespeare's still a thing, I guess.
I think Stephen King is going to be that writer of our time. I think he's the most
to the Harry Potter author.
So I think J.K. Rowling for sure is going to be one of them. She's created something there, but I'm trying to put my tea down, and I just want to put my microphone down. I'm doing so good.
It's okay. You can talk into your tea.
I tried.
How about R.R. Tolkien?
No, so Tolkien is definitely one of the ones that will be remembered. But from the modern age, from where we are now, Tolkien for sure is very good.
Yeah.
I definitely think J.K. Rowling, but I think if we're looking at perfect story structure, it's going to go to Stephen King. So J.K. Rowling is good,
probably the most famous.
She's the most marketable. Like, no, definitely now, Rowling is.
Rowling.
Yeah, her, or at least her product, Harry Potter is. But hers is marketable. You had Four Houses, you had Good and Evil, you had Red and Green. Like, it was very marketable. A lot like Star Wars. There are certain products that are picked up very quickly by studios because we love marketable. We live for marketable. If something is easy to identify with and easy to market, you can buy a charcuterie board with the Hogwarts, symbol burned into it. She's making money hand over fist.
People will absolutely buy that.
But yes, we would. But if we're talking about just who is the best writer, I would have to go with Stephen King.
This brings up actually, you brought up an interesting point that I'm going to divert from our storyline about authors real quick. If a product, I see this all the time now, even on Amazon, where products be like, oh, hey, check out this Harry Potter embossed mug, or check out this charcuterie board with the House of Gryffindor etched in on it. But you're a Hufflepuff. But it's what I'm saying is that it has nothing to do with the actual brand. It's just this third-party company that's doing all this.
They're licensed. So if you're getting it on Etsy, it's probably not licensed. If you're getting it from any company, it's probably licensed.
Really?
Yeah. So a lot of companies license it. It's like the Grinch. Ironically, Seuss hated capitalism, and the Grinch is anti-capitalist. Same as Lorax, you all know. And so when he died, the new company direction is plaster the face of the Grinch on everything for Christmas.
I love that. Dr. Seuss hates capitalism, But all we've done with his works is he had to have been alive to have made money from the books.
He was, but he didn't push like that. And he didn't believe in exploitation. It's like when you buy a t-shirt with Che Guevara's face on it. It's kind of a middle finger to Che Guevara. I'm just saying.
I mean, yes, but there's always money to be made, which is why I was curious as to how they can get away with doing something like with the Harry Potter thing. But you're saying that companies can license out the Harry Potter brand and then sell stuff to make profit from it?
We've had people try and license you, but we won't do it unless it's aligned with your values. And that's what's important. It has to be aligned with the values. In this case, it's not aligned with the values. But I do want to bring our guest on in a sec. The biggest thing I want to talk about with him, and I'm going to talk about with you, is going to be the Jake Paul fight.
That just took place, right? Well, then let's bring him on right now. Welcome to the show, Mark Anthony Baca. How you doing today, sir?
Maybe we don't have him yet.
It does say welcome.
No. Hello.
Oh,
hey,
hello,
we can hear you.
Hello.
You can hear me, okay? Can you see me?
We can see you.
Okay, perfect. How you doing?
Doing great, man. You got a little sidetracked. They're talking about Dr. Seuss and capitalism, but other than that,
I got on Che Guevara. I said, with his face on it, it's like a middle finger. We went way off the rails from what we were supposed to be talking about. But what we wanted to talk to you about was, did you watch the Jake Paul fight?
I did. I thought it was interesting that we're going to talk about that because I love putting my perspective on real fights, like fighters, and Jake Paul has really done something to the boxing world, which I'm sure you can agree. Like him or not, he's brought fans to the table that weren't fans before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Absolutely true. He's a great advertisement for boxing.
I think boxing, he's one of the reasons boxing still exists.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like we don't have the De La Hoyas no more, and the Mike Tysons no more. So there's not any heavyweight or middleweight that's actually recognizable that people were like, hey, I want to watch the fight.
No, I will say with De La Hoya, he was a very, very manufactured fighter. I like De La Hoya as a person. He nearly lost his career right before the Shane Mosley fight when it came out with pictures of him in drag. That became a whole thing. What I don't like with De La Hoya now is he tried to sign Bear a few years back because he started his own MMA organization.
Yeah,
and I'm like, and I'm like, if you're gonna. Boxing's failing, so you're moving into MMA. You are supposed to be the poster boy of the sport. Go save boxing.
Right. No, I agree with that. 1000%. I mean, look at Dana White. He kind of, mentioned a few times that he was. I'm not sure if he was, but he was talking about putting his fingers into boxing a little bit. I'm not sure if that's gonna happen, but
if he did, it would do well. Like he made slap boxing a thing.
Yep.
They did try. They did have the Zuffa boxing thing. That was the tentative title. I don't think they've still called it Zuffa boxing, but they put on Canelo versus Crawford, but they had to follow so many rules and legalities that he's like, fuck it, I don't want to do this anymore. This was stupid. I'm gonna start next time I do a boxing event, I'm gonna have my own rules, my own commission. He wants to have it all to himself and follow nothing that is standard right now.
He did it with MMA. I'd like to remind everyone, every time he uses bad language, we give money to the Boys and Girls Club of America, the Humane Society of America, and Free MMA. We swear because we can.
Yeah, Dana White just wants to get rid of the Ali Act entirely. He wants nothing to do with that.
What is the Ali Act?
There's a lot of fine details for it, but the part everyone focused on was it basically was like, hey, we are allowed to pay and handle the fighters however we want. Fuck off.
Oh.
And so the Ali Act basically kind of put a kibosh on that, and he wants to start his own label and commission everything without that. So I don't know how he's going to go through with it. I know there's certain rules they have to follow in general.
That doesn't surprise me. He did try and he absolutely did stomp out the cage fighters union.
Oh yeah,
never even had a chance.
He's got the monopoly on everything, so it's like, I mean, he's smart. I mean, I was going to fight for Strikeforce, 10, 15 years ago, and that's right before Strikeforce got sold out. So
yeah, they were strategically acquired by the UFC.
Yeah, he's smart. He tried to buy out Bellator, I believe, but I guess
he did.
Yeah,
it has now been bought and it is gone.
Yeah, PFL did it.
PFL bought out Bellator. So whatever's not being bought by the UFC is being bought by Bellator, by PFL.
You know what? It's crazy. I used to be really big when I was fighting, and then a little bit after I wasn't fighting, and fighters in the UFC. But the past 10 years, I've been more strategically working on movies, but then working with fighters like Rashad Evans and Clayton Guida and stuff like that. But, you know, back to the Jake Paul deal, a lot of people, I mean, I don't know if his fights are fixed at all. I mean,
if that last fight was fixed, he should have paid him more.
Oh, man.
Because that guy beat the brakes off of him.
He took a punishment for it, though. I mean, I got to give him credit for stepping in the ring with someone with such. I mean, come on, that guy outweighed him by what, 40 pounds? I mean, I don't know, but it was
the
insane.
same thing happened with Sam Alvey, though. Sam Alvey just did a belt fight for Karate Combat,
and that guy was 200. And he would have been about 35 pounds heavier than Sam.
And Sam put on weight for the fight, so Sam's gone up weight classes, and that was the moment Sam was like, "Yeah." Weight is a big deal because I got in the ring with in the pit with that guy, and I was just like, "Oh dear,
he's too big."
Like it was, but Sam, who never says a naughty word, very very good Christian boy, just the way he described it, he's like gets in the pit and looks at his opponent and goes, "Oh dear," like it was just, it was.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, would you fight Jake Paul for that payday? Because I mean, I'm not gonna lie,
would I fight him for the payday or take a dive for the payday? Either way, the answer is yes.
I mean, I fight him for the payday. I mean, win or lose, I'd give it all.
Yeah, no, I absolutely would. I mean, those guys both walked away. I don't remember if it was collective or each, but even if it was collective, they both walked away with $300 million. Right?
Bear's trying to get Paul to come over and do MMA. On the plus side, Bear has super bad. Just shout out to Jake Paul. Bear has super bad stage fright, so you'll win. Don't worry. Come fight Bear.
Yeah,
we couldn't get Paul to fight Sam, so now we're trying for Bear.
But one thing I will say about the whole Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul fight, and this is actually something that people have been disagreeing with me on, is that I think the weight cut is what made Anthony very timid in the first few rounds. And weight cutting in general, you'll know this, it just makes you feel so shitty, and your cardio is so shot if you have to do a big one. And so I think he was smart. He did go out there and say in interviews that, I want to take Jake to deep waters and I want to make him suffer for as long as I can. Personally, I think they made a guy who walks around at 265 pounds with a six-pack cut 20 more pounds, and he was a little bit afraid to kind of get in the action, get in the midst of it immediately. But
that is how you get when you have to do a severe cut. You are pretty timid,
right? I don't want to. The thing is, I'm tired. I feel bad, and I don't want to burn through I don't want to blow my load in the first round, and then this guy survives. Now I got to figure out how to live with him for the next 2 or 3.
It's like your body gets those jitters. I remember when I would cut weight, and my body would get those jitters, like to my it's like an aura around me, and that excitement. People. I don't know about you, but when I get in the ring, I was always nervous. I didn't care how good, the guy, if I beat the guy before, it didn't matter. It was always that excitement of everybody watching you. But then I get this like jitters to my body when I cut weight a lot, at least for the first few rounds. After I got a feel and we went through a few rounds, then I felt more comfortable. But the first couple of rounds were always tough.
No, I understand. I definitely get nervous before my fights. I don't. There are guys who walk out there and they're happy-go-lucky. They're so confident and cheerful to be in there, and they don't care who they're fighting. I overanalyze. I overthink it too much. I have to write out my game plan by hand for me to feel confident in doing it.
I think Cub Swanson put it really, really well. Bear actually called Cub because he was super nervous, and he'd asked, and Bear had talked to everyone. He'd called over Jackson, like he called Winklejohn. He called. He calls Cub, he calls Sam, he's talking to Dan Henderson, he's talking to Joe, because he's trying to figure out why he's so nervous and why he how to deal with it. And it was the best statement actually came from Cub.
Yeah, it was something to the effect of everyone gets nervous. Do you think when I fight in front of 50,000 people I'm not scared? And it's the truth. I mean, I think it keeps you intelligent more than anything else. It just makes you aware of the danger and how to react to it properly versus I don't care. Hit me as many times as you want. I'll get brain damage in my late 20s, and I'll never make any money from it. But I'm not afraid.
So that's it. Fear is natural.
So a lot of people talk about Jake Paul. They're like, "Well, he's not a real boxer." You know what? I really feel like I watch his workouts. I mean, he's training like a real boxer. I mean, is he that level? Probably not. Maybe at his weight level, at his weight class. I think if he was to actually fight fighters at his experience level, I think he'd do fine.
I think he'd do really well if he was fighting guys in his own experience level. I think the issue he's got 2 issues. He's too famous to be fighting nobody.
Right.
But the flip side of that is he doesn't have the experience to be fighting somebody. And so it's a very difficult position to be in, because he is too big to fight a nobody, because all he's going to do is make them famous. But he's too inexperienced to be going toe to toe with,
Well, you know
anyone.
what he has done is of his 12 fights, he's only fought 6 or 7 guys who really had a name or a professional record that was superb before him. And those are all televised. He gets the live stream going. He really pushes it. But we can see on that record, we've not watched 12 main event fights with Jake Paul. What he's done, though, is he's gone around and he's participated in other pro boxing matches with guys who are like, oh, the so-and-so has not won a fight in 7 years. He's got a record of 8 wins and 37 losses. Yeah, he's basically padding his record and getting the experience that way. And then when it's time to do a big fight to get his money,
it or
he's
not,
shooting his
Joe's
shot
doing
there.
the same thing with you.
No, I don't knock it. That's just what's happening.
Your coach is doing the same thing with you. He's super selective about who you're allowed to fight.
Selective is definitely good.
Yeah.
I think Jake needs to. And actually, I can't even say that because he throws himself into the fire sometimes, like with Anthony Joshua. Though I will say that's the first time I think he was ever in any
actual danger,
real danger. Do you remember when he fought against the wrestler from the his first boxing match?
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but my best friend, he's passed away recently. The Green Power Ranger, Jason Frank. He wanted to fight that guy, and in a real cage fight. But Jake Paul ended up fighting him in a boxing match. But Jake Paul, that guy didn't have any experience boxing. I didn't think
No, I mean the most he did was he fought in the UFC, and he was a very good wrestler for his time there. But certainly in the ring, I remember everyone thinking too, oh, he's some YouTuber. He's gonna get the shit beat out of him. Yeah, this guy never did boxing, but he's a UFC fighter. And you made a really cool point earlier, and that is he's training like a boxer. But he's also got an unlimited amount of cash flow to just shove at the best trainers and gyms in the world.
Right.
So, yeah, sure, he may not have the experience that some of these other guys have, but he definitely has more resources than
he's also
anyone right now.
Not completely stupid. So, for those who don't know, Sam Alvey actually trained with Logan Paul. And Jake watched Sam beat the brakes off Logan. So when the option for Sam to fight Jake Paul came up, Jake Paul went absolutely freaking not. Absolutely not. I'm not doing that. I've seen what this guy can do. Absolutely not.
Yeah, that was very early into his
boxing that was early into Jake Paul's career, but it sticks with you when you see what somebody can do like that. It does stick with you.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys a question. People are like, okay, Logan's like, I want to fight Joshua Anthony now because revenge for his brother. But I really think Jake is the better boxer, to be honest with you.
Yeah. At this point, certainly.
Logan's a better wrestler.
Yeah.
Jake is a better boxer, and it's got nothing to do with WWE. It's just got to do with their experience and what they did in college and everything. Now, I will say what I'd like to see is this guy came in off the internet and decided, again, going back to Sam, to fight Sam. Sam and Bear both gave him the same advice. You lost, own it. What I found, the one thing I did find that Jake Paul did well, he didn't do it perfectly, but he did own his loss. And I didn't expect that. I expected him to pull a John.
Excuses.
Make excuses, lie, that sort of thing. But no, he owned his loss. And that surprised me.
Yeah, me too.
That really surprised me because it takes a lot to own your loss.
Yep.
It takes a lot of humility. It takes to not make excuses. Well, the sun was in my eyes. It
didn't get no sleep.
Yeah, exactly. It takes a lot for people. I did a whole TED talk on it, and one of the things I talked about is how to fail. Because if you know how to fail properly in life, you can do anything. But if you don't know how to fail, you're screwed.
I teach my students that too. I tell them, I want y'all to lose and say it's okay to lose. Because if you learn that young, when you get older, you're going to take that loss and learn from it. Because if you don't win, you learn, right? So if you win, it's great. But if you don't win, you learn. If you learn, then you're going to grow.
Right. And the perfect time to learn these lessons is when you're a kid. You don't want to have either no experience or you've won all your matches and now you're an adult and you take your first real hard loss and you don't you're not really mentally or emotionally capable and prepared for it, so you can't come back from that. You get hung up on it.
And it's also the mental fortitude to have a fight. I've seen a lot of guys quit halfway through the fight, and you can see the moment they quit. You can see when they're done. Yeah. And one of the best fights I've ever seen was not a UFC fight. It was actually Mikey at the Pan Ams.
Yeah, my friend Michael Salazar, he went to the Pan American Championships this year, and he fought a guy who was #1 at the World's MMA Championships, which is a much more prestigious, larger fight.
Like this
they
is
get
a world
lot
champion.
More. They get a lot more competitors out there. He showed up to this one, and my friend beat him on decision. But you can see it.
Neither one of them quit. If you guys, if you're into MMA and you get a chance, this is the only fight that I've ever seen where nobody quit. Neither of these guys were going to tap. Nobody was leaving. And you can see it in both of them. And with fights, something Bear says and something Sam had said, they've all said, you can tell who's going to win the fight because it's the guy that comes out of it faster, out the gate. The guy that gets their head together fastest is always the guy that wins because you're both in your head when you get in. Right. But the guy that comes out of their head first is the guy that wins. In this case, I watch these guys come out the gate, both get out of their head very quickly and just go. And neither of them stopped. And I've never seen a fight like that. It was absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Was that as brutal as a Diego and Guida fight back in the day? Remember that?
Nothing's ever going to touch
Nothing's going to touch that. That was the bloodiest fight in the history of ever. This was two guys, like this was a lot more jujitsu than it was. Like this was not a flashy fight. You'd appreciate it because you're a fighter. Right. But for most people, it's not going to be as flashy as that because my God.
Right.
I love Diego. Diego is a really good dude. He's funny. Except for the time his wife called my assistant to make sure they weren't having an affair. Like that was awesome. His new wife is just a little crazy. I don't know if I love that or hate that yet. I'll let you know as it goes on, but he's a good dude. He's a really good dude.
I think another fight we can reference for just being two guys that didn't quit until the end was Rory McDonald versus Robbie Lawler. Their second fight. That for sure was just two guys who were unwilling to stop. But that's
a fighter's fight. The same as Mikey's is a fighter's fight. The ones when you talk about like Sanchez, that's an audience fight. That's someone like me that isn't into MMA can appreciate.
Oh, yeah, because it's violence.
It's bloody. Someone's tooth's flying out. Yeah. What you guys are talking about are damn near gladiatorial. These are Spartan events where two guys are just going until, the bell tolls. That's very much the fighter's fight. And it's interesting what you guys like versus what the rest of the world likes.
I think you just learn to have an appreciation for the sport.
Right.
After doing it for so long. And actually that makes me think back to, we were talking about Jake Paul. I'm going to ask you a question, sir. What was your take on Jake as the rounds got on? Because we watched him kind of start off his normal movement, his normal patterns there, but he, to me, seemed timid from the start and actually tripped over himself a couple of times.
He looked terrified before that jaw break.
Yeah.
He looked terrified.
I think he was definitely, throughout the rounds, he was cautious. He's very cautious. He would run a little bit, which I wouldn't blame him. I mean, come on, that guy had a reach on him. That was like, it was totally. I respect him though. He went 6 rounds, regardless of how Anthony took it, and he took his beatings. And after his jaw got broken, he was still talking. In 2 places, he was still talking. Most guys couldn't get up from that. Like he has a tough chin. I mean, look at Nick Nayu. I mean, what's his name? Francis.
Yeah,
he got hit by Anthony and went down. I mean, Jake Paul went 6 rounds. I mean, to me, I got a lot of respect for the fact that he went 6 rounds with him. I mean,
the movement for sure, I think kept the pace going, kept buying some time because we saw the difference there. When you watched Ngannou, he was confident, I think, in his power, and he came off a very good, didn't win, but that's more political. I think he came off a very good fight with Tyson Fury, and so he's confident in his movement, his ability, his power, so he gets in there with Joshua, but now he's got a guy who can at least match the power, who's got a lot more technical skill in the boxing world.
Ngannou has got the strongest punch in the world, right?
He used to. It's not him anymore. Someone did dethrone him impressively enough. It's some Eastern European kickboxer.
Can you not fight him, please?
I think he's a heavyweight, so I'm probably not going to do it. But yeah, so Francis would like walk into Josh when they would have their little slugfest. It looked like a standard heavyweight fight, where this one very much looked like a cat and mouse kind of game.
Yeah, I took a book out of Merriweather, kind of like
He did. He fought intelligently for what he had to fight.
He's like a butterfly, right?
How much would it cost for you guys to get in with Tyson?
Tyson? At what age?
Prime
Tyson?
Oh God.
$300 million.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because I want generational wealth, because I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to get old enough to make it myself. I got to make it here and now.
Yeah. If you live through the rounds, you want to at least know you don't have to work again. Ever.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. I mean, Prime Tyson is.
If I'm going to be a quadriplegic, I got to be able to afford the health care that comes along with that.
Yeah. Get the nice remote control.
Yeah. Absolutely. The one I can think with my mind and it'll send me around.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, Prime Tyson, man, I think he was the most devastating. He's paid me a lot of money. Yeah.
Is there a fighter from your time when you were competing that really inspired you to kind of step into the world of competition?
Oh man, I was young. I was in the 70s when I first started training. I look at old school guys. And this could sound corny to you guys. This might sound corny to you, but even though I follow boxing, because that was what was prevalent back then in the 70s and 80s, and then kickboxing, I used to watch Mike Winkeljohn fight, and that's what got me into kickboxing. And then I met Mike Winkeljohn because we became friends when I was in high school, and then I started training more kickboxing because I thought that was cool. I love to stand up fight, but this is gonna sound corny. I tell people this all the time: the best combat sport movie I've ever seen was Rocky. And I know it sounds weird, but because Stallone had the attitude that I wanted to have. He was humble, and he fought, and when we got in the ring, he was a different person. He was turned on. He was an animal.
Right.
But outside the ring, he was the most loving person, honest person, a humble person. And when Apollo was putting him down and like joking around with them, he's like, "Oh yeah, Apollo," he just took it, but he still loved the guy. And that's the kind of fighter I wanted to be when I grew up. I was watching these Rocky movies when I was a kid, and I know it sounds weird, but it was just a movie. But the movie came from somewhere. The ideas.
It's a damn good film. Do you know that Sylvester Stallone still has the turtles from Rocky? Seriously, yes, they've got their own page. They have their own Insta page. The turtles from Rocky. They're still alive at Stallone's house. They're the most well taken care of turtles.
Yeah, that's insane that they lived that long.
It's funny when I think of after movie props and the material where the crew may sometimes walk off with like a piece of memorabilia. Yeah. He walked out with turtles.
He left with turtles. He made Rocky. So Stallone had done some adult film.
Yeah.
He'd also done some acting jobs, and he wasn't finding anything that fit him. So he went on a weekend drunk and wrote Rocky himself, and then pitched it and sold it. And they wanted to buy it and not have him associated with it, and he refused to sell it. Right. Now, turning down $100,000 at that point in time for a film sounds insane.
Yep.
But he did, and he dead set was going to make it and do it himself. If y'all haven't seen Rocky, it is considered a classic for a reason. It was a well-written, well-structured film. But one of the things that Stallone talks about when he made that film, he said it doesn't matter whether it's fighting or acting, whether it's trying to get ahead in any job or life. We've all been there where we are beaten down and desperate, and our only choice is up. So you're either going to collapse or your choice is up, and you make do with what you've got. He's like, we've all been Rockies. So if you get a chance, it is a truly inspirational film, and it was written to be that way.
Not to mention, the movies would never have been the same without the Italian Stallion.
Oh, hell no. Like, he's amazing.
You had to have him in there.
The best. If you'll get a chance, there is a great clip of Arnold Schwarzenegger complaining about today's day and age. There are no action films like they used to be. All they're doing is remaking these guys. He's like, and I was talking to Silly, and he was like, I did the Expendables. Why can't anyone do their own thing? Schwarzenegger calls Sylvester Stallone silly. There is also a photo where they both ended up in the hospital at the same time getting shoulder surgery, opposite shoulders. They ended up together. He was drugged out of his mind when he found out Stallone was there. He's like, take me over to Silly. And everyone's like, what? What?
Why does he call them silly?
Who's silly?
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone is called silly. by Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger refused to say what Sylvester Stallone calls him and says it's far worse.
Well, when you're friendly enough, right?
You know a lot about these guys, about the movies. That's pretty cool. I mean,
I work in film and television, and so pop culture and media is what I do. But you yourself, you work in stunts, so I can tell you these guys are dying for a new action film. They want a real action film,
right?
They want something that pushes the pace a little bit, like we used to get.
Well, that's it. But when's the last time you see Die Hard? They're doing add-ons to Die Hard, but they're not making anything like that. One of the things I talked about was these guys were a close-knit bunch. They knew Bruce Willis, like all these guys knew each other. One of the things when Schwarzenegger was making Last Action Hero, not a great film, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Was making Last Action Hero. The studio was having trouble getting a hold of Sylvester Stallone to see if they could use his face for Commando, for the poster, for the joke that he was in all of Schwarzenegger's films. And Schwarzenegger got fed up and went, oh my God, just give me the phone. And that's how they got him to do it. These guys all knew each other. Hollywood is very, very small. So you need to be making these films, because I can tell you all of these guys would love to do cameo pop-ups in those kind of films, and they want a new action hero. They want that.
Yep. Let's do it, Bear. Let's do it.
Do it.
Action movies.
The closest they had was Creed.
The legacy die.
Do it. You guys do a film together. I will fund it.
So this is like, see, it's legit.
Nice. I love that.
That's beautiful.
I love that.
So last time I talked to you guys, I was at my ranch, my stunt ranch, but I'm here at the house. So
I was gonna say your background looks a little bit different than the previous show.
Yeah, my lady, she likes to have a little more, like, not do this, you know what I mean?
Not do this.
He doesn't complain when she wants more flowers.
I don't complain. I just make suggestions that then get ignored, and that's okay. I make suggestions.
If you were going to make an action film or a horror film, if you were going to make a film today, reminiscent of those old films. Now, I'm going to give a shout out and say Creed was done really well. I know it was added on as part of the Rocky franchise. It was well done.
Right.
Shout out to Michael B. Jordan. Like, you are the closest we have to an action star these days. What do you think we would need for an action star these days?
For an action star?
Yeah. What's going to make an action star in today's day and age? Because everyone's like, yay, look, Timothée Chalamet is carrying a purse. Like, it's kind of a different day and age.
We've done everything almost. Yeah, I think we need to get back to the roots, like the CGI and all this crazy. Like, almost every movie you watch nowadays has so much AI and CGI. I think eventually, pretty soon, it's going to be a thing where people want to see practical. Like, they want to see the guy actually doing the stunts instead of green screening it. You know what I mean? So I think that's what's going to get us back. Like,
you're dead right. I had this conversation. For those that don't know, I work with Amazon on and off. I've had this conversation with Amazon. They legit are looking for something like that.
And that's what I do, practical. I mean, everything I do is practical. I don't do any. I mean, we wire work them, of course, but we flip the cars, jump the cars, explosions. We don't CGI any of that stuff. So,
well, work on your splits if you're going to be the next Van Damme.
Yeah, come on. I can fight you. We can be the nemesis to each other.
There you go.
Yeah, perfect. Let me figure out how to support my splits on 2 chairs or 2 semi trucks.
He can split. He just can't do it on semis. I don't even think he'd try.
It's not an unimpressive feat. I want to say that guy was just something else.
For those that don't know, Van Damme legit did it. That was the whole point of the commercial. And you're a man that can do splits. You do stunts. You guys tell me, him doing splits on 2 trucks like that, what do you all think? Because it was not a stunt. Like, it was a stunt, but it was real. He legit did it.
What I think is that it requires incredible coordination between the 2 semis to not split that man.
Yeah, can you imagine him falling off because the insurance on that boy? Woo.
What happens when he loses balance? Like, I've seen you do the splits. I haven't seen you do it on 2 chairs though. You are weak.
I am willing to bet that they had him in some way, shape, or form glued to the top of those trucks.
No, they didn't. They had a harness from up down.
Okay.
But he had to split the same way he does on chairs or anything else and hold himself there.
A harness is fine too. He had to have had something.
So he didn't hit the ground.
Didn't just immediately.
But my thing is, wouldn't it make you guys wobble if you got 2 cars? Because they're not going to be perfectly.
When you do the splits, you put your feet down. Because I used to do it all the time on chairs, on tables at school, in high school. So you put your feet down when you do a split, so your feet kind of still help you. And I always put like my calf or my ankle part to where it helped me support. So yeah, I would do it, but I'm not sure. I definitely have to have a wire, have a pattern on you just in case I rolled. You know what I mean?
That makes sense, having the toes forward for balance and having basically more things connected to the ground. I like that. It's
you absolutely. Don't do
that. Not well, at least.
He puts his feet up and flexes them.
We should recreate that. Make it funny. So
you should recreate the commercial. God gets
do it. What happens? Rolls onto the wheel, goes onto the semi.
Just get a dummy and paint it someone's face.
That would be a hard thing though, because that is a combination of a lot of physical strength in that man and a lot of talent with the drivers and a lot of talent with the stunt team, like that, making sure he doesn't fall off and get caught in a wheel. That is a lot of coordination.
Actually, this brings up a good point. Have you ever been on a set or maybe one of your own sets where you had to do a stunt that would just seem so impossible or difficult to orchestrate?
Have you not?
Yes, I've actually did that for several times, lots of times. Like Nike called me to LA a while back to do a small, easy stunt. You know, basketball and the girl, it's an women's NBA player, which I don't really follow the NBA, women's NBA that much, but she shifts, boom, to the right, and this like paranormal type of like vibe, like force knocks the other girl like into oblivion. So I have to do wire work. Well, you know, sometimes it is in a studio. They don't always have everything that you need. They got a grid I can hook up onto, but time is money. And I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this stunt, I need time to organize this right and do the math, right? So we didn't have a lot of time. So I improvised and I made sure that the girl that was doing the stunt was safe first.
Yeah.
And then I walked through the stunt and usually use like sandbags to use the weight to just in case, so we can make sure that we can control the force of the girl flying. And then we put the girl in the harness and then boom, make her fly. And we did that take over and over and over and re-rigged it a couple of times because I didn't get a specs. I didn't know where we're doing it at until the day of shooting. And this wasn't a really hard gig, but it was hard because it was like I was rushed and I needed to make sure if I'm going to be rushed, I'm still safe. And even though it wasn't hard, I've done really hard ones before, but I had time. I didn't have time. So, but we did it. The Nike was happy with it. Everybody was happy. The girl got paid double. I'm like, hey, win.
Hey,
I like
good
that.
for her. That's awesome.
I'm going to tell the audience. I'm looking off. I'm texting, and I'm texting my assistant. I'm like, I want to talk to Amazon Monday about this action movie thing with you two.
Yeah,
I've just hung a left, but
it's okay. You're invested.
Yeah. Well, he's talking about doing that, and I'm like, that's.
Just so you guys know, I'm the film commissioner in Smithville, Texas. I'll give you a heads up. I did a movie a few weeks ago called Toy Maker, and the director, producer, I produced it, but the executive producer, they go, we need locations. So we used my ranch. I got houses on my ranch. We used the veterinarian place, the police department, all those places didn't pay one penny. And we used all locations for free. Every single location was free because they know me and they like me. And so, like, I'm the film commissioner, so people are like, oh, you're doing a movie, and they want to be part of it. So we had so much help. It was insane. We did this movie.
She's so incredible.
Do you need to disclose to the audience we are actually in talks right now about doing a reality show about him and with him? So I always try and disclose to the audience when we're doing that, so they know that yes, we're talking, but it's I never like to blindside anyone. Audience doesn't love it when they're like, oh, but you're working with this person and didn't tell us. Like, is that why you were marketing them? No, I had him on the show. Then I liked him. Then we decided to do the show. Then we got the TV show.
You know, looking at the stunts like the one you described with the WNBA player, I know that it's probably the hardest part, or one of the hardest parts, keeping everyone safe and not injured as best as possible. But is there a particular thing you have to look out for to make sure this person is physically apt for it, or the equipment's ready to go? Like, kind of walk me through a bit of the steps of how do I make this safe on set?
All right, so the first thing I do is I go through all the guy wires, and I look at all the threading to make sure everything's good before I even start rigging anything. I don't leave that to anybody else. I check out all the calipers, carabiners, pulleys. I check out everything first, and then I hand it over to my team. so I know there's no cut threads or anything that's gonna break. The second thing I do is make sure that the harness that my person's using, if I'm bringing a harnesses, that I make sure I put them in the right one, because that makes a big difference. You can't have a lot of slack in the harness when it pulls you up. If you have a lot of slack, it shows on camera. It looks terrible. And then that's one. But two, makes it unsafe, because then you get more of a play when they get jerked across a wall or fly through the air. You give a play, you don't want that, because that'll break the wire if you're using like centrifugal force, right?
Right.
So those are the key things I look at. And then one of the most important parts is the mats. You can only put mats in certain places. You can't mat the whole entire place, right? So what I need to do is make sure that she's going to fly where I want her to fly. So that's why I put one of my guys in there with stunt pads on, elbow pads, knee pads, gator back, whatever,
right,
and let them fly into the pad first. And then we put my stunt performer that I don't know, or I do know, that I'm paying to do the stunt. Then we go through it over and over.
Wow. So you actually have like you have 2 or so people that are going to actually sit in there and go through this themselves before you put the actor, actress, whoever in that setup.
Exactly.
Man, I'd say I feel safe, and I haven't been on if you're going to stunt yet. They're like, oh, I already feel better about this for no reason at all.
Yeah, when I put you in the harness, if you're doing a stunt for me, I'm gonna make sure that we're ready, and all we have to do is get you to do a few practice runs, and then boom, we do it.
You're not gonna pull a Die Hard, just throw him off a building, not tell him he was supposed to fall?
No, I did that to Clay Guida one time. I'm just kidding.
Is that a thing? Did that happen?
It was Alan Rickman was playing the bad guy. It was his very first film.
Okay.
Bruce Willis was hanging him out the window, and they didn't tell him he was going to fall, and they let him go, and you can see the horror as he realizes he's falling. It's real.
It's basically legit. It was legit, no acting.
Legit terror.
I mean, did he see? I feel like I would have sued the shit out of them for that one.
He was not thrilled.
Oh my god.
There's a lot of that. Back in the days, it was crazy. Like Poltergeist. You know, when she was in the water, those were real skeletons, real people.
Yep.
And she didn't know that until after they filmed.
There was in Jaws, in the beginning of Jaws, they had ropes on either side, and they were supposed to move this woman back and forth. They got their timing messed up, and they pulled at the same time, broke her ribs. The screaming you heard was her ribs breaking.
Wow.
And they had to get special permission to keep that in Jaws. So yeah, back in the day, that is why, for those that don't know, it is incredibly important to have a decent stunt coordinator. Like I work with the Angel and the Diamond in the Raw Foundation. Mm-hmm. Which is for women in stunt. I work with them and support them. I love what you are doing. I love that you have your branch. I love that you are teaching people. I love that you are doing that, because without good stunt coordinators, people die.
Oh yeah.
Like it is incredibly dangerous. You hear about deaths on set, Google it. Back in the day, there were more, and there were a lot of deaths on set. And so the stunt coordinators you see today have learned from trial and error, and every mistake made back in the day when people die. You see, even as quick back as like Lord of the Rings, horses died, people were severely injured. It was really problematic.
Yeah. I just whenever I get a script, I'll break down the stunts part of it, and I'll dive into it, and I'll make a list, and I'll make sure that we're ready before we even go to set. Like we go to set, my guys, my team, my A team. This is what we're going to make sure we're ready for. And I have everything laid out before we even go to set.
Where did you, and this is kind of an off piece here, where did you find your team? How did you make these connections? These friends of yours through the business before? I don't know where I would find guys who can do this, you know?
Ironically, when I first started like stunt coordinating about 10 years ago, what I did is I opened up my stunt school here in Austin, Texas, about 5 years ago during COVID. And I started doing my classes. People pay to come do my classes, and I wouldn't charge a lot of money, but then people just kind of stuck around. I'm like, oh, you need help? I'm like, sure, I'm going on set. So I bring them on as utility. And then before you know it, they would get so much experience with me. I stopped charging them for training. I just said, hey, you're going to train with me. And this is what we did. And I started building a team up because people would train with me, and some would go on their own and go do their own thing, which is fine. And then someone stick around and say, hey, what you got coming up? I'm like, hey, I got a few movies coming up. You want to be a part of it?
I like that.
Now
So you trained. It does make a difference when you train someone. It does make a difference. Most of my team that I keep long term, I train because I know what they're going to do. I know they're honest. I know I'm not going to have mistakes. I'm not going to have money missing. I'm not going to have anyone hurt on my sets. It is super important.
Even from a fighting perspective, when I cross train at other gyms and they give their team the lesson plan, they start going through the motions and it's new to me, or the drills are different for me, or they use different terminology. It's like, all right, I'm having to play catch up. It makes me slower. It makes me less capable. Right. Versus if it's one of their own guys who's been doing it for years and years and years, they shoot off a half-assed command and the guy knows it perfectly because he's done it forever and there's no flaw there. And that's the beauty of training up your own team. I mean,
I will say, awesome. I see that with you and Joe, where Joe like gives you half words of what he wants done and some vague description and everyone looks confused, but you're like, got it.
Right, because it makes sense after a while when you're working with somebody like that. So, and honestly, though, that speaks highly of you too as a coach for you to be able to train up your own team to be so efficient they can bring them on and put other people's lives in their hands. That's such a huge piece of the puzzle there, honestly.
What do you see for yourself and your ranch moving forward?
Oh, wow. I mean, I'm just going to buy 2 more acres to add to it right now. Here pretty soon. The 2 acres don't seem like a lot, but it's a lot.
That's a lot.
So, yeah, really hoping that, with the project that we were talking about, but other stuff too. We got a few films we're doing out there here pretty soon. Warner Brothers, they just got bought outright. So, I got a friend of mine that works at Warner Brothers that is still working there. She has a couple of projects that they're on hold for, but they want to film at my ranch. So it's going to help with the facelift, I guess you could say.
I like that. I'm going to have to send a couple for Amazon your way. Like now that I'm talking about it, I'm looking at them like it's perfect, really.
Yeah, we can do a lot. And because I own a lot, we don't have to charge a lot. We work with people's budgets. I'm not money hungry. So
that's interesting you say that, because I would think running through either equipment or damage of property, or maybe something that like a firework that has to go off and you have to replace that now, that you would want to charge a lot more for the service you offer and a whole facility that you run. I can see people really ringing out companies for that.
It depends on what they're doing. Like, you want to go through a wall? Sure, let's go through a wall, and then me and my guys, we can fix it ourselves. So we do construction. I can build anything. Like I said, they call me MacGyver. So whatever you want, we'll do it, and then we'll just figure out the budget. And if it makes sense for both of us, let's do it. But we don't do it on a big scale. Like, normally on a SAG film, you know how it is on a SAG film.
Oh God, yeah.
Every department's gonna milk you. They're gonna milk everything they can, every little straw, every piece of whatever. They're gonna milk you because it's a SAG film. Now, what I want to do is I'm gonna play fairly. I'll say, okay, we're gonna go through this wall. We're gonna blow up this bedroom. I'm cool with that, and then I'll just fix it. That's what's gonna cost me, and I'll just material-wise, and I'll just put a little bit on there for labor, and me and my guys will take care of it.
I love that. Cool. I even see it with makeup artist friends of ours. Back in the day, they're like, okay, take whatever's left home of like the practical or the FX makeup. Not anymore. Every penny, every dollar. Yes, I work for the studio, but I like to work with the same people. So my thing is, whatever we have, all of it was used. Take it home. Don't want to hear about it. Don't tell the studio, because really they are nickel and diming everyone now. Yeah. I get overpaid. Everyone else gets underpaid. Yeah. So I'm like, how do we nickel and dime? And I nickel and dime them, trying to get as much as I can for my crew, because I would like to work with them again.
Right.
Can you tell everyone where to find you?
Yes. My website for the stunts is www.extremeforcehollywoodstunts.com. And if you go to my Instagram page, I don't have an E at the beginning because someone else has it. So it's XTREME Force Hollywood Stunts.
I like that.
Perfect.
We need to work on your social media, build that up, do some cross promotion with Bear. Now, I am going to say, I want to talk to you about Receiver of Many, which is a best-selling book. I have the IP too from Rachel Alexander. It's kind of a bodice ripper, Greek mythology, but you and I need to talk about that. We also need to catch up on your reality show, which I already pumped over at Amazon, and another show that I'm doing there that I want to talk to you about that I'm not allowed to announce yet.
All right.
So I want to talk to you about those, and I want to talk to you about the Cage Fighter show to try and keep these guys safe while they go over the world and do a bunch of dumb crap.
It's exciting.
So we need to talk about that. I'd like to talk to you tomorrow if you've got some time.
Let's do it.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. I'd like to point out we have verbal confirmation. I'm now kidnapping
it's
this
a contract,
man.
yeah.
Yep, total contract, verbal contract. Thank you very much for joining us. And for those that don't know, he actually came on last minute and saved our butts because we had a guest cancel, and I owe you. Thank you so much.
No, my pleasure. Trust me, it's been wonderful.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you for talking about Jake Paul. That was very insightful. I like that.
We'll see what happens with them.
We'll see.
I like that. Guys, make sure you go and follow him. We will put up the link. I'm the Baroness. We are on with my co-host, Bear Fiorda. This was Behind the Scenes.
Good night.
This has been Behind the Scenes with the Baroness and Bear Fiorda. Only on Talk 4 Media.